Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July, but Democrats believe every day is April 15th. Voters do need to compare competing visions. We must be the party that advances and advocates ideas, innovations, a can-do spirit that will have a positive impact on people's everyday lives, rather than restrictions and limits and regulations on our lives. The is not harming some, leave them free. We believe that our rights are innate from our Creator, not from the government. And we believe that... Picture for that. We believe that government derives its just powers from the consent of the people, who are the owners of government. And yes, we may be from small towns, cities, suburbs, around the country, but we do still cling to the belief that our Bill of Rights protects our freedom of religion, our freedom of expression, and the right to defend ourselves, our families, and our property. We believe that if a government is to be involved, in most cases, decisions made by the government closest to the people best reflects their values rather than remote, distant, centralized bureaucracies. And in fact, when workers are voting on unionization, we believe that free workers should have private, secret ballots. We are the party of initiative, personal empowerment, individual and family responsibility, rather than sapping dependence on nanny-meddling government elites. We're the party of opportunity for all, a level playing field for everyone, regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, or gender, to allow everyone to compete and succeed to the best of their own hard work, ingenuity, and talents. We look at education as personal empowerment, and we don't think that social promotion is the way to go for self-esteem. We think students ought to earn self-esteem. That's why we're for high academics, standards, accountability, and affordable higher education. We also lack a free marketplace of ideas and goods where people decide who has the best services or products, rather than redistribution or fearful protectionism. Now, there are some who may believe that the Congress or the presidency or the Supreme Court is the most important institution. We believe that the most important institution in our society is the family. We seek to promote the work ethic rather than reward idle behavior. They measure welfare success by how many people are getting social service checks. We measure welfare reform success by how many people are leading independent, self-reliant lives in a whole family. Indeed, we think the best social program is a job. We're also for securing our border. And we are for legal immigration that will continue to strengthen our country, but not rewarding illegal behavior with taxpayer-assisted benefits nor amnesty. We are the party of peace through strength, the party for a strong national defense, the rule of law on the side of our troops and our law enforcement officers. We're not the party of criminal apologists and defeatists. We want to be on offense against these vile, hate-filled, maniacal terrorists. And we want to see our troops come home from Afghanistan and Iraq. But we don't want them to come home and retreat and defeat. As John McCain says, we want our troops coming home in honor and in victory. We must be the party that understands and addresses the aspirations and concerns facing families and entrepreneurs. We must work smart to make sure that we're the world capital of innovation and the best place for people to live, learn, work, invest, and raise our families. My friends, y'all came here from a lot of different places. And the fact that we're paying around $4 a gallon for gasoline shows that America must start our creative engines. There is no rational reason we should have our country increasingly so overdependent on imported oil. I'm sure you saw and read this just a few weeks ago, and I found it a demeaning spectacle to see the President, our President of the United States, begging Saudi royalty to increase their oil production. To which the Saudis responded, why isn't the U.S. doing more to increase production? My friends, a sovereign and prosperous America must be able to feed, fuel, and defend itself. And let me I'll tell you something else that galls me, and I think right many of y'all too. Contrary to what some elites say, Americans are not addicted to oil. Americans are addicted to freedom. The freedom to go where and when we want, and Americans should keep that freedom. We don't care if our vehicles run on Gulf of Mexico oil, peanut oil, palm oil, batteries, or any other method that is reliable, affordable, and clean. My friends, we have that energy here in our own country, under our land and in deep water off our coast. We have that resource and energy and our best asset, the creativity of the American people. What is missing is the leadership to unleash and use our energy. Heck, we are the Saudi Arabia of the world when it comes to coal. The rest of the world is using United States coal for electricity. In fact, South Africa and China are synthesizing and refining coal into liquids for transportation fuels. If they can do it, so should we, rather than using our food and our feed for fuel. France used advanced nuclear power for 85% of electricity. Every process is in the most efficient way. I know darn well that if the French can do it, so can Americans. Now, folks, rather than sending $600 billion out of our country every year, continue to be jerked around by cartels and hostile dictators, let's wisely and creatively use our American energy resources for American jobs, for American competitiveness, and for American energy security and independence. We're at war. And at the end of all, the President is Commander-in-Chief. For our troops and for our families, John McCain is by far the best president in so many ways. There has been no one in Congress more determined, tenacious, and fighting wasteful spending than John McCain. We cannot continue to load future generations with perpetual debt. And you can be certain there'll be no waste of taxpayer money on tropical indoor rainforests in Iowa, bridges to nowhere, or Woodstock museums with John McCain as President of the United States of America. In fact, I know John, he would relish the opportunity to veto any of this wasteful, unnecessary spending. Now, while John and I have strongly disagreed on some issues, he's been an ally in many pro-growth initiatives. He was a key ally in my legislation to make sure that federal, state, and local tax commissars did not tax your internet access. I am confident that President McCain, as promised, will reduce our high taxes on business, make the research and development tax credit permanent to help create more innovation-related jobs, repeal the alternative minimum tax, advocate for the presidential line item veto and prevent tax increases by making the 2001 and 2003 tax relief permanent. My fellow Republicans, as always, all of y'all are going to be absolutely essential teammates in getting our message out to Republicans, to independents, and yes, also to Democrats. We see that some of the Democrats, if they don't get their nominee, are attracted to John McCain. They admire his character, his courage, his commitment to enduring principles. Now, in November, the voters across our country and all our states will have a choice between a politician who would surrender in Iraq, create more wasteful spending programs and dependency on big government, increase taxes and burdensome regulations, and nominate activist judges who would invent the law, versus a leader who will lead for victory in our war on terrorists, who will stop wasting our money in Washington, who will improve America's competitiveness, who will put families and individuals in charge of their health care decisions, and who will nominate Mr. Justice. So for people who pay taxes, who work for a living, who care about their families, the best choice is clearly John McCain. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start our creative engines to elect John McCain and elect allies in Congress. Work hard for honest Jim Gilmore to hold the seat, my good friend John Warner in the U.S. Senate. Let's make sure Keith Thymian wins the seat held by all-star Tom Davis. And let's make sure that we re-elect valiant Virgil Goode, tenacious Thelma Drake, respected Randy Forbes, battling Bob Goodlatte, effective Frank Wolf, and leader Eric Cantor. Friends, rev your creative engines, put the pedal to the metal like never before with your positive, constructive ideas to motivate Virginians this fall for the sake of our Commonwealth and for our country. And ladies and gentlemen, please do as patriots have done throughout our history. No matter the challenge, please continue to always stand strong for freedom. Thank you all, and may God continue to bless our Commonwealth and country with people of your character.